This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Leber. Nacho time, 9 to noon. Ben Leber at Nacho Leber via X. Watch him on the TV today and each and every weekday. Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30 on Channel 5. And beloved Ben joins us now. The segments, it's either Marathon Segmenta or Segments with Ben Leber are provided by
Children's Cancer Research Fund, CCRF. They're a nonprofit here in Minnesota. They do such great work. Obviously, as the name goes, it's pretty obvious of what they do. So they raise money for children with cancer, for families that are dealing with children with cancer. And I urge you, it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in September. So I urge you to jump on their website, check them out, and listen. If there's another cancer research charity or entity that is closer to you, please donate and raise awareness with them as well, because we're all in this fight together. So thank you.
Thanks for your heart. I went a little along with the Falcons Vox, West Durham, so I kind of clipped on Bikes Bites a little bit. So Bikes Bites Part 2 fits perfectly for Ben Leber at Nacho Leber. And Bikes Bites provided by...
Oh, yeah, and Lieber's familiar with this organization as well. Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. You know Matt and those awesome people up in Clearwater and the product they produce, nutrient-dense beef. Regenerative agriculture, I have no idea what that means. I can barely say it. But they do terrific work. Good. Oh, it tastes damn good. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and the practices of regenerative ag is something that we should be applauding and spreading and growing. And it's basically primitive farming and going back to getting rid of pesticides and chemicals and all the crap that's killing our soil. So anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, thanks to Thousand Hills.
Bikes Bites. Well, I had gone down the road with Harrison Smith, some audio from him yesterday talking about getting healthy and just kind of getting back into football shape. You can appreciate the conditioning elements that he's working through. But from an injury report perspective, and we heard it from KO, Ty Chandler's going to miss some time, and Blake Cashman's going to miss some time. So we have Mason and we have Aaron Jones. But specifically with Cashman, Eric Wilson and his ability to, or the requirement that he's going to have to build off the other night and step into this role. And then potentially a Xavier Scott who returned to practice. Does he potentially jump in from a special teams element? Where's your head at with just kind of the swirling health related topics with our team?
Well, the good thing is, our roster is getting an early test on its depth. And I think that's, a couple spots that we actually felt pretty good about in preseason was the quality of depth at running back. And so that's going to get tested. And, I think lost in the shuffle with all of it is, from everything that I understand, is Ty Chandler had the best training camp he's ever had with us. Mm-hmm. And as much as Xavier Scott kind of took the shine off of that, and there was like the rumors and rumblings of this competition between the two, and, you can only keep so many running backs, and you got to have CJ Ham in there as well. And rightfully so, there was a little bit of a healthy debate. But through it all, they said Ty was fantastic during training camp. So, the fact that we lose him, and if Scott really is going to be healthy, then I think everybody feels pretty comfortable about what we have there in that spot. And who knows how much playing time he's really going to get. But, he's there if needed. On the other side of the ball, we saw how well Eric Wilson played. in Cashman's absence in this last game, and he was spectacular, made a lot of splashy plays, made some plays on special teams as well. That's probably going to continue, even though he's going to be, most likely, I'm guessing the green dot guy when it comes to the next couple of weeks. And I think that's the most important part of substituting out Blake Cashman is what he does pre-snap to this defense. He really lets IP just be IP. I mean, be this downhill dog that's just going to smack you in the mouth every single time. Be this absolute human missile that he is out there. You notice a couple times Blake Cashman before the snap, he's directing traffic. I mean, as much as we saw from the very first snap, J.J. McCarthy take a step back, take a look at the defense, make an audible, make a check, point to his temples, hey guys, and kind of changes the call. You do this. You look at the defensive side of the ball, and Cash is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's directing traffic. He's getting guys lined up, switching guys from one side to the other, recognizing offensive formation and tendencies and stuff like that. Like, he's very cerebral before the snap. So that is the part. Like, Eric Wilson physically can handle everything that I think that Cash is doing out there. But mentally, I think that'll be the thing that I'm excited to see on Sunday.
Well, one thing, I got two questions for you, but the first one specifically to the green dot and Eric Wilson. I can't remember whether it was last year in the 2 games Cashman missed. There was also, I believe, in the preseason an opportunity where Ivan Pace was wearing the green dot on the helmet. You had maybe at this point, despite Eric Wilson being new, would you potentially still lean towards the newer guy wearing the green dot over Ivan Pace to, as you say, let Ivan be Ivan?
Yeah, that's the thing. I do. If based on just watching them play and knowing that Eric's a savvy vet and he's going to understand this defense, even though he's a little newer to this defense than IP is, I think there's a sense that I think that he just gets the cerebral part more than IP, and that's no knock on IP. I mean, there's a lot of players that I played with that they don't want that responsibility. They honestly just shied away from it. They're like, let me just go play.
Which is okay, by the way.
Which is okay. If you're out there making plays and you can play free, for me personally, wearing the green dot, I was very fortunate, and it was a terrible situation for EJ to go down. But for me, I actually thrived wearing the green dot. I liked knowing a split second or a second or two before I gave out the information to our guys what the play call was going to be. And then, during the course of the week, you're just a little bit more dialed into the game plan. Like, you have to be the coach on the field. And I really enjoyed it. And so I'm not saying that IP doesn't enjoy it. I just think that maybe if Eric can handle it and he can still play fast, maybe just give the responsibility to him.
And from your formative years with the San Diego Chargers, and your coordinator was Wade Phillips, even though you were not necessarily the green dot man in the middle.
No.
When you were just talking about playing freely, and when Wade, Vikings offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips' dad, Bum's kid, when Wade knew you guys get it, he just let you play, right?
Yeah, Wade was the most freeing defensive coordinator I've ever played with. His playbook, essentially, I mean, I'm being exaggerative here. His playbook was 5 pages.
That's awesome.
It really was it was so simple. He didn't try to reinvent the wheel. It was, I understand as a defense, we just have to play fast. Playing fast and aggressive will trump any sort of X's and O's for the most part.
Yeah.
Offensively, it's a little different. You have to be in the right position for guys to make the blocks and to get the timing and all this other stuff. Defense, you could have one guy. Hargrave could go out there and just wreck shop. And that's all you need is for one guy to be disruptive. All of a sudden, the quarterback's off his spot. Now you're in scramble coverage. And now scramble coverage turns into just find the first opposite color jersey that you can and latch on and play man-to-man. That's not X's and O's. That's not repped in practice. That's just go out there and play fast and be disruptive. And so his play calls were simple. He didn't have super long code words. He didn't have a ton of adjustments. It was just like, hey, guys, we're going to run Sam Will 1. Sam and Will, you're blitzing. We're playing one coverage behind. That was the call.
Yeah.
And
maybe with a side of robber.
You could throw in a robber if you wanted. You could throw in a plugger if you wanted,
Throw in a plugger, though.
But anyway, yes, he was from that aspect, he was really fun to play for. And I was not mentally ready to be a Green Dot guy because I was too young in my career. I did not understand the defense with all 11 players and how they interacted. Donnie Edwards took on that, and he was awesome at it.
Mm-hmm. So I was sitting in traffic this morning en route to the station, and you were on the power trip, and I think Dallas Turner came up, and I liked your perspective on it because I had texted you as well earlier in the week. Hey, Van Ginkel dropping into coverage like that. Have you seen that a ton last year? But there were interesting moments in Monday night's game where Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Turner were on the field at the same time. And Van Ginkel, regardless of how much he did it a year ago, did it at least a handful of times where he would actually not pass rush. He would drop back into coverage. And you saw Turner trying to fill those pass rush lanes. I saw him bounce off or break off an O-lineman, made a nice tackle off towards the boundary once. He didn't jump out to me, but it sounded like you were paying attention and you saw some good things from Dallas Turner.
Yeah, I really did. I noticed early on that he was in the game with Gink and Grenard. And he was a 5 technique, meaning he was basically lined up on the outside of the tackle or right over the tight end, inside shade of the tight end. And he has hand on the ground. And, he looks like a typical 4-3 defensive end in those situations. And he held the point. I mean, I thought he did a great job getting out of his stance.
Sweet.
Playing against the run. He played with a pop on contact. He played with good arm separation, disengaged from the block very well. He was disruptive in the run game. He really was. I mean, he made quite a few plays early on, and he was a force out there. And again, I think getting his game to be more complete, I think the fans are wanting him to be more of a true pass rusher, which is fine. I mean, I get that. That was his pedigree, and that's what he was brought in to do from college. But I think for him to see the field more often and to feel like you're getting more value out of him, that's the evolution of his game that has to get better. And I saw it get better in game 1.
Early game. Can't remember exactly what series. Turner goes to bull rushing Darnell Wright, the right tackle. Mm-hmm. All right. So the Bears picked up whatever game and or stunt the Vikings were executing. So there's Dallas. Now he's got to work his way to get around him. And he didn't get around him. But here's what I liked, what I saw. Okay, I've seen his little stutter step move, push with the right foot, pedal to the metal, and he's gotten through before. This time he didn't. But he pushed right back. And he didn't necessarily catch him at like one of those weird bad feet angles.
Right.
And what I'm trying to say here is he knew he was beat and he wasn't going to get there and the ball's going to get out. He didn't stop.
Yeah.
He just kept grinding. And those are baby steps, man.
Yeah. I mean, understanding, you even see the great ones, pass rushers. Like there are times where the way that the scheme is designed, a bull rush might exactly be what they're asking for.
Right.
Just collapse the pocket and don't try to do anything extra special. I mean, we saw, look at Caleb Williams' touchdown run. You get a guy on the outside that takes an inside track on a pass rush move, gets caught up, and then now there's no edge. So I don't know the defensive scheme. I don't know if there was supposed to be a looping defensive tackle in that situation that's supposed to loop in on the outside on a stunt and be the contained guy. But when our outside guy looks like takes a calculated risk, tries to beat the tackle in the inside, and then gets stuck, and you can't get out, that's a soft edge.
That's losing the edge.
Wow. And so, maybe in that situation you're talking about with Wright is like, he's responsible for just collapse the pocket. We got other guys that are trying to do things. I mean, I would say the one thing that keeps popping up, at least when I watch from a critical eye with Dallas Turner, is I feel like there are times where he's doing a great job with his get off. He's getting the edge that he's supposed to get on the offensive tackle or the tight end. And just as he goes to clear the guy on the outside edge with the speed rush or something, he's not necessarily flipping that upfield hip to get back around. He's getting into a lot of we call it just drive-by situations. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, where he's just getting latched on and they just kind of push him by the quarterback. I'm like, dude, you beat the guy. Now you have to have the sense that like that half a step where you're winning. Now you need to clear him with your other hip and flip that thing and get it pointed towards the quarterback as opposed to running past him.
Let's credit FINA quickly, if you don't mind. FINA.
Okay.
Fairness and Nacho Libre Act.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he goes down that road like that,
Yeah.
We learn. It's impassioned.
We love it.
That right there was the bomb.
I just got this text, by the way, switching gears a bit. In the 2024 season, I'm just going to trust this. Vikings edge rusher Andrew Van Ginkel dropped into coverage a total of 212 times. Highest number among edge defenders in the NFL. So
he almost had one the other night.
So I guess being enamored with it or noticing it, I guess it happens a lot. On the offensive side of the ball here,
a lot happens a lot with the Flores defense. You know what I mean?
It's chaos.
Yeah, it's like you feel like, hey, Metellus hasn't really done that a ton. Well, actually, he's done 175 times. You know what I mean?
Does him jumping routes at the line, does that count as technically dropping into coverage?
Nordo, we talked about this 2 off seasons ago. Okay. It's a 3-4 hybrid with floaters.
You're right.
So the unique nature of the floaters makes it impossible to get hold of. You know?
That's a very good point. On the other side of the ball, backup tackle in the mix, Justin School, but I thought Donovan Jackson played really well. At one point, actually, they were having Jackson, it looked like, in some ways helping School on McCarthy's backside to make sure that that McCarthy was upright, making a couple of plays, specifically on that touchdown throw he made to Aaron Jones. What'd you think of the rookie?
I thought he played phenomenal. Let me just say this about School as well, and a little bit in his defense. I mean, yes, he had some negative plays for sure.
Take a deep breath, Nordo.
Okay. It was awful.
Listen, there were some plays I'm sure that he would love to have back.
Yeah.
Here's what I did notice, though. Later on in the game, did we see a ton of tight end help?
Thank you.
Did we see
almost none?
Did we see Oliver going over there to be his little assistant and his left pocket? I think if
it's like me talking to you at 12:30 in the morning before we're heading back home, and I heard somebody say something, and I'm like, Nacho, I don't know what School did in the second half, but it couldn't have been bad. Because nobody was getting hit. They were moving the ball. They were running it. I mean, something had to have turned into good.
I think he gave up that sack on Passigno after the pick six.
Wasn't his fault.
That sideline pass that JJ made on the first TD drive to Justin Jefferson.
Wasn't his fault.
On the boundary, guy got loose, absolutely smashed JJ, but the kid QB hung in there and made the throw.
That's what he does.
But he was terrific in the run game in particular.
So what were you going to say?
Yeah, so I was going to say Donovan played amazing. If you didn't know, and if you were just casual football fan, even casual analyst, if you are any one of these guys that are on ESPN right now on the TV, and you just turned on the Vikings all 22, you had this the end zone cam going, and you had no idea who these guys were up front. You would not know that guy at left guard was making his first NFL start. Mm-hmm. There's no way you could decipher that. He played solid. He played more than solid. He played really well. He moved guys in the run game. He had great awareness in some of the stunts and twists and some of the blitz packages that they had. I thought his awareness was incredible. The other guy that I think that deserves some credit is Ryan Kelly. I know that we expect that out of a savvy vet playing center, but I thought he had a phenomenal game. I mean, some of the movements that he had, some of the blocking assignments that he had that are hard reaches where he's got to really snap the ball and get to his left and capture that guy's outside shoulder. He did it so effortlessly and just kind of sneakily quick. And he has this old man strength where he just kind of latches onto you and then doesn't let go, but doesn't look like he's straining. So I thought that he played a really solid game up front, and we need that. Didn't
it kind of feel like, specifically, I'm glad you mentioned Kelly, I went into the game and Lavelle had me so down on Deo Dengbo that I just thought that was just going to be a non-factor. I'm watching Montez Sweat thinking, how's that going to look? But I don't remember on the game call and in watching the games, Grady Jarrett's popping. Oh, there's, Jervin Dexter?
Jervon Dexter Sr.
Jervon, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, I was wondering how that would look inside, and I just don't remember them really being a factor, at least in altering or affecting what McCarthy was trying to do.
Meanwhile, Noah Sewell, who had to replace T.J. Edwards, Panay's baby brother, I had no idea he could play that well.
He's kind of a player.
Yeah, I had no idea that he could be that much of a force downhill. I knew when he was coming out of college, he was super athletic in space, and he was real twitched up. But I thought he was really undersized. And now, of course, I haven't paid attention to him the last couple of years, but then I see him on the field and I'm like, he's kind of rocked up now. He's got some thickness to him. Still doesn't look like he doesn't look like he lost any twitch to him. He played really, really well. Yeah. So, and I'm with you. Outside of the way the game started, they did a great job of sort of bluff bail techniques where they were up at the line. They'd bluff that they're going to blitz, and then they drop out and bring a 4-man rush, and the 4-man rush kind of got to us. I mean, they did a good job trying to confuse our line and our rookie quarterback, or first start quarterback. So got to give them some credit. But as the game went on, we made the adjustments, and all those guys you mentioned never really were a factor later in the game when it mattered.
With to close for this segment now, and we've talked about this before. Now, Brett Favre was nearing the end of an HOF career. But, in 2009, it's with, you're a veteran at that time. Greenway's a veteran. Henderson's a veteran, so on. But like Percy Harvin was a rookie. Mm-hmm. Sidney Rice was in his second year. Adrian Peterson was in his third year. Those three clearly matter offensively. And, at the end of the Saints game is where it really, came to fruition 10 of 10. But I had seen it during the course of the year where it's those kids grew up watching Brett Favre. And it's like he got here and he's got the gray hair, but he still has the cannon arm and everything. And you guys are winning a bunch of games and clearly had a wonderful, wonderful team. It's with those three I mentioned is like, whether it's surrogate dad Brett or HOF I watched when I was in middle school, they just gave every extra ounce to make sure they didn't let him down. And that could even that could even mean with study. And we just got to we're good. We can't let this guy down. I mean, seriously, this guy's unbelievable. Fast forward to now. McCarthy's 22. Okay, but with the boyish charm, the skill set, the culpability and self-awareness when he makes mistakes to say, that's on me, or I'm sorry, things like that. These veterans, man, they just don't want to how much do they love J.J. McCarthy authentically?
Yeah, I think that's the key word in all this is J.J.'s been authentic since day one.
Yeah.
Genuine. Guys, I mean, it's not just guys. I mean, every adult by the time, I'm talking about the locker room being, 24, 25 and older, you have a pretty good BS meter, right? Every adult has that. It's better than it was when you're 17, 18, 20 years old when you're in college. I mean, things kind of, you can drink the Kool-Aid a little bit more when you're younger and you're more impressionable. And you get in the professional ranks of anything, whether it's your boss, a new manager comes in, you can smell out whether or not they're authentic or not. You're like, is this guy for real? Is this gal for real? And with him, everything that we've heard when he came in the building at just freshly 21 years old was everybody walked away from their initial meeting like, whoa, this guy gets it. Like, he's not trying too hard. He's got natural charisma. He's got natural instincts. He, wants to really, take ownership of this organization and kind of do it in the right way. And man, I think all of that building that he's been doing since he walked in through all the stuff behind the scenes when he was injured last year, it built this trust that this guy is who he says he is. And guys appreciate that. So honestly, whether he goes in the huddle and says, hey guys, any other place you'd rather be and flashes a smile, whether that happens or not, whether he leads 3 straight consecutive touchdowns in the fourth quarter or not, if he finishes the game and what we're talking about is that pick 6 and how rough it looked, I still think everybody's like, believe in this guy. We believe in this guy. This guy's got it. Like, it didn't happen maybe in game 1, but it's going to happen. Now, this expedites all of that. But I truly think, even if we walk away with the loss and he doesn't play well, everything that he's built from the time he walked in the building, everybody's on his back still.
When 9 to noon continues, main man, the sideline analyst,
Leber,
has a prediction to make, and it's a rather bold prediction. That takes place around the corner. It's KFAN. Ben Leber at Nacho Leber. Don't forget to watch him on TV today, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5. It's TCL. Yeah, you know we. It's a Twin Cities Live, and it's a very, very good show. Speaking of very, very good, the Motor City Kitties, the Detroit Lions, were quite good last year. Registered 15 victories, got themselves a bye, and then summarily were dismissed by the Washington Commanders and a spry rookie quarterback named Jaden Daniels, who will be on display this evening at Lambeau Field. Now, that was last year. This year, the Motor City Kitties are 0-1. There was a wet behind the ears reporter who stepped into the fire yesterday with old Dan Campbell, and here's how it sounded.
Year under Ben Johnson. People are just wondering, myself just included, would it have been feasible just to, even I know John's a different coordinator, but would it have been feasible to just, Jared talked about changes in communication, there wasn't a lot of pre-snap motion. Would it have been feasible just to run the exact same offense as last year?
What are you asking? What did Jared say?
I'm saying your offense last year.
Well, no, you said something Jared said, so let me hear it.
Changes in communication.
Yeah, but you said something about emotions and keep.
Yeah, I'm saying that would it have been feasible to, and people are wondering, the offense looks drastically different than it does last year. Would it have been feasible to just exactly run the exact same offense?
So after one game, tell me what it looks like that's drastically different.
Not a lot of pre-snap motions. Explosive plays weren't there. Wasn't as creative. Wasn't as.
You didn't see any pre-snap motions in that game?
As much as we've seen before.
I want you to go back and look at all of our motions, pre-snap motions, fast motion shifts on the road.
Box. Wow.
Yeah, that's. I mean, when you start going down the road with a coach, whether they've won the game or lost the game, and you're telling him, hey, there weren't as many of this, you better have an arsenal ready to back that thing up, man. And Kiddo didn't. And
did you hear the bit there too, where classic mistake where you're shooting from the hip or lip, and Jared was talking about motions and lack of communication, and then the coach immediately latched on. Tell me what Jared said.
Yeah.
I would like to hear that. And he tried to bail out of that like his life depended on it. Oh, that was awful.
That was uncomfortable. And the thing is, God, Dan Campbell, obviously he's right. It's like what he said at the very end is go back and watch the pre-snap motions in our shifts and fast shifts on the road.
On the road.
And It's like, boom. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right that Ben Johnson and his time with the Lions didn't do a lot of that because that requires extra communication in a hostile environment where the noise is very loud and you don't want your receivers and quarterback having to communicate verbally or non-verbally in a loud environment. So yeah, I bet you 1,000% if you went back and watched all of us, if we watched the home games versus the away games and how much pre-snap shifts there weren't in the away games. Wow.
Well, couldn't you just run the exact same offense, guys? It must be.
About that?
It must just be that simple. By the way,
it's that easy.
What an insulting question that is.
Because that's the implication right there is that John Morton is a moron with what just took place at Lambeau.
Yep.
This is already a disaster after one game. Couldn't you just do what Ben Johnson did? Isn't it just that easy, fellas?
Yeah, I can't believe that person was permitted in. Yeah. All right, 3-2. Did before the 2024 draft, Mr. Ben Leber, did you love Michael Penix into that draft? As I recall, I think you were infatuated with him.
Yes, I would like to say, now I'm not just saying this just to toot my own horn, and I can maybe find it in my notes here, but because I don't think I deleted it.
No, bro, we're just going to believe you because you don't lie. How about that?
I had Michael Penix as the third best quarterback in the draft behind...
Don't say, come on.
Yeah.
Nail it. Behind Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. If you're telling me you went Daniels, Nix into anybody, I'm like, damn, man. Let's can you help me with my pick 5 at the racetrack on Saturday?
I did not get the first two right. Well, I don't think I got the first two right. But I did have him ranked higher than I had him ranked higher than Jaden, than JJ, than any other guys that were in that. I looked at his age as a plus. A lot of people looked at his age and his injuries. You know, some of his injuries were the fluky variety. Yep. You know, it's not that he has a fragile body. Like, he plays a physical style of football. And I looked at his age as like, look, what are you looking to get out of here as a quarterback? Are you looking to get 20 years? If you're looking to get 10, right? I think we're all kind of like, if this is our quarterback for the next 10 years, anything beyond that is great. That's icing on the cake if you can get that far.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old or 24 years old or whatever at the time. I'm like, so you're telling me that you're going to pass up a guy that's NFL ready today because you want to get a couple more years out of him? Like, the guy's ready to play right now. He's got a giant arm, like a ridiculously giant arm. And he was super accurate going down the field. And he's more mobile than you think, faster than you think.
Correct.
And wasn't one of those guys that wanted to break the pocket just to break the pocket. Like, he wanted to be a pocket passer, and he would extend plays only when he needed to. I liked a lot of things about Penix, and I took a lot of his, what people thought were demerits, as like, that's kind of an asset. I want a quarterback. If I'm going to draft a first-round quarterback, you all want them to play right away in year one. So why not have a guy that is ready to go in year one and then can hit the ground running, and not just, we'll give him a couple years to kind of get hit, possibly lose his confidence, and then we're just going to scrap and claw to put something together in year 3 and 4. So I'm a big fan of Penix, and I cannot wait to watch him on Sunday night.
From the sideline, which is the bomb. And with some of these touchdowns, the touchdowns that we saw in the Bears game, I'm watching back some of the replays from multiple angles. Nacho's all over a man in that corner. It's like you were in the perfect place to see these touchdowns develop and everything, with the fans super close to the field. That seemed like a wonderful experience. Now, let's close like this. Ben Leber has a prediction, and he texted it to me yesterday, and I'd like you to share it on the radio. Are you comfortable with that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, the reason I want you to share is because this is a big plus money. This would be a big plus money proclamation if it comes true, because the person you're about to say has not done what you're going to say in 4 years. Give it to us.
I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to come down with a pick.
Last interception, 2021 with the Indianapolis Colts.
You know?
Oh, now you're second guessing a little bit, aren't you?
Didn't know that stat?
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Well, he started one game that year, started 9 in 22 with the Colts, started 3 for the Birds last year. So not a ton of starts there.
Yeah. Either way, I thought he played well. I thought there's just something about his body movements and body mechanics, the way that he's able to transition and use his hips. And, it seemed like his awareness was on point too on this last game. And this was just game 1. And so, I just got a good feeling that there's going to be a deep shot where he's going to get it right. And it might be a 50-50 ball, and he's going to come down with it. I fully expect that Atlanta is going to test us deep. Why not? I mean, just talked about Penix's cannon of an arm. Why not use the full arsenal of what you've got? We really didn't get tested last week deep down in our secondary. We don't know if we're going to have Harrison Smith back. So why not challenge our secondary?
Right.
If you get the time. Now,
if you get the time. If Elijah Wilkinson and something called Ryan Newsel block.
Correct.
If.
Yeah, if we can get the performance out of our defensive front like it did last game, then I think we're fine. But, if they're able to play action and kind of do the things that we're actually, sort of accustomed to. I mean, this is going to be a similar offense that we've seen from our own guys. I mean, this is all Sean McVay type guys running that offense down there. So you're going to probably see similar philosophies. I mean, we all have different wrinkles. They're going to be throwing the ball in the backfield, obviously, with Bijan. But I do think that they're going to take some shots down the field, and I think Isaiah is going to come down with one.
My man, good seeing you. See you this weekend, and have a good day. Okay,
all right, thanks, man. You too.
Watch Ben Leber on TV today, 3:00, Channel 5, TCL, Twin Cities Live. News du Nord is around the corner. Then Mike Tirico from NBC joins about 20 minutes from now, and 9 to noon continues after this.
Welcome back. It's News de Nord, which is brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park. The Casino at Canterbury Park in Shakopee. Live racing for a couple more weekends before the 2025 season is over. But it's never over when it comes to feeling the felt and playing blackjack, table games, smashing a little 3-card poker. Of course, having sips at chips and tipping Derek Allen. And Thursdays. You know what time it is, PA?
What do you got?
It's time for the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge.
Pigskin in the Purge.
Pigskin in the Purge at Canterbury. And it's super cool, too, because you just roll into Canterbury. All right, you ready? You're feeling, okay, I'm looking at that $10 blackjack table, ready to smash that. But before I do, I'm going to enter my winners for this week of football games.
Yeah.
And you get weekly prize winners. All you got to do is just pick the winners. It's that easy. But then that accumulates over the course of the season, and at the end of the year, there's going to be one big winner who gets free fuel for a year from Quick Trip. So, and it's that easy. Just roll down to Shakopee. You're going to be there and have a blast anyway. Might as well win some extra coin for yourself via the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. And it started at 10 a.m. I believe it goes until 10 p.m. this evening. So just hop into Canterbury, have a blast as you always do, and maybe win some extra stuff via the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. CanterburyPark.com for more information. We referenced it at the Open when Parker Fox was in studio. Kind of news starting to percolate and bust out over the day yesterday, where I think it was Frank Savali, I believe that was the name, where we
got an R in it.
Saravalli?
Yeah, something like
that.
There
we go. Okay. Well, my apologies regardless to Frank. But that Kirill Kaprizov's camp had been offered a massive deal. It was like 8 and 128 would have made him highest dollar value, most amount of money in a contract, NHL history. So history was potentially being made, and they turned it down. Then you hear later on from Michael Russo of The Athletic. He joined Bumper to Bumper Emergency Russo yesterday afternoon, and that maybe this is an emergency, that it is time to worry, that it is time to be incredibly concerned. Then you hear from Bill Guerin. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. Don't know where that report came from.
Yeah.
Russo actually even acknowledged during his conversation with Bump, I'm paraphrasing, Bill's not saying anything at this point. Like, I hadn't heard from Bill, didn't have the inside grease with the general manager. Just paraphrasing that again, not to misquote Russo. But to that end, he rolls out, here's a quote. My role, and this was on he was on the 10,000 Takes show. You know the 10,000 Takes, guys.
Garen was?
Garen was, yeah.
Yesterday?
Yes, he was.
Well done, boys and ladies. Wow.
And he said, my role as general manager is to protect our players. I know two things. That info didn't come from us, that being that report about the turndown. Mm-hmm. And it didn't come from Kirill's agent. I don't know where it came from. Kirill's agent and I have a very good relationship. We're working through things. We're not going to let things like this get in the way. So, red alert across the hardcore Minnesota Wild fans.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. It's Bill. I mean, it's like it has some topic to it for local sports, and I think it's Jack Leverance and Dwayne Shintz's guys. Some other people that I've met there. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah, good dudes.
And you know, it's just you think, you know, Bill Guerin had this to say here. and it's our guys at 10,000 Takes. I mean, that's awesome. It's akin to, you know, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Laurie had a lot to say about this ownership bit with Dane Moore.
Yeah.
And that's not denigrating or diminishing Dane Moore, who's a frequent contributor to this show. It's like, where's Shams? Where's your guy, the Canadian reporter guy who always has everything first, whatever his
Pierre
name.
LeBrun.
Pierre LeBrun, yeah. Where's Russo Radio? He's with Jack and the boys on 10,000 Takes.
It is awesome.
That's awesome.
And as times change, I think that's important, and I think it's really cool. Where you mentioned Dane Moore, it's like I'm texting with Freeman, and we got Finchy in the mix or whatnot, and we'll see what Alex Rodriguez's schedule looks like. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's just rolling in, hanging out with Dane at like a brewery, doing a podcast, the whole thing
during the playoffs.
Yeah, during when it's sticks are being gripped tightly time of the year.
Some park in Minneapolis, it's packed. You got the Dane Moore NBA podcast. I think his co-host Kyle, maybe Britt Robson, was there. So wait a second. Alex Rodriguez probably didn't drive on his own. He probably was dropped off.
Probably.
But it's a big crowd.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You had to be dropped off a block away and walk to this park to join.
Yeah.
That's Covenant class right there. That is Covenant class, man. And likewise for the 10K boys.
Well, yeah, Russo's like, he's hiding in the parking ramp at Tria trying to get intel. And meanwhile, hang on, I'll get back to you, Michael. I'm joining Jack and the boys, 10,000 takes.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's cool how they cultivated those relationships.
Quick Covenant communication situation with Mike Tirico at 11:05. When do we need to break?
We need to break probably in about 2 minutes, if that's cool.
Just quickly on Kirill.
Yeah.
The whole thing for me is it depends on whose ox is being gored.
Thank you.
And what I mean by that is that they're now if Billy, Johnny, Christie, Susie, Tamika, Antoine, they have game worn 9.7s or Kaprizovs from days gone by, and it's their all-time favorite player. Yeah, I mean it's what I'm about to say is not for you. However, they're there, so that's why there could be sadness and there could be consternation and anxiety like you just shared. So no, do I prefer to lose Kirill Kaprizov? No, he's badass when he's healthy.
Yeah.
However, things get to a certain point where it depends on whose ox is being gored here.
Thank you.
It's trade him. I mean, honestly, if we're going to get into this, who has a stronger stomach and why, we're going to eyeball and turn down $16 million a year over 8 years.
Right.
Then, okay. I mean, then cool. Then we just got to get 3 or 4 players for him and figure out how it's going to work.
Yeah, and there's too many angles to really dig into in such a short period of time. But you mentioned when he's healthy. There are those that are concerned about an 8-year term because of the health and his age. He'd be, 36 or 37 by the end of that contract. There are those that are willing to take the risk because of how high-end he is. Then there are those that are saying, well, I understand it. The Russian kid might not want to sign an 8-year deal because maybe he's concerned about the GM's ability to build up what's going to be around him.
That can't be it, because if you are, you don't take all the money so the village can't be fortified.
But he just turned down the most money, according to that report.
Oh, wow,
according to that report.
Box.
So is it a shorter term? Still want to make my 16, but let's do 4 years so maybe I can get another bag and maybe move on if things don't work out here. By all accounts, he likes us. He really likes us. He wants to be here. That's what we heard through the spring and most of the summer, man. It's super ugly. So just feeling for the state of hockey hardcores that have to live through a lot of that at this moment. But to your point, as we wrap up News to Nord here, if it does come to that, the earlier the better. Really is probably the idea to move. If you're going to move on, which is crazy to say. You're thinking about salary cap going up. We're out from under the buyouts. We got 97. Now we're talking about potentially moving on from them, sooner than later. But something's got to happen. Something's got to happen. And but for now, the GM's just like, no, we're good, man. I don't know where that report came from. Love Kirill, and I'm going to make something work. So we shall see.
That's Eric Nordquist guiding News du Nord, CanterburyPark.com to learn more about the Pro Pigskin Pick'em, which is open right now, and you can win cash, and it's free to enter. When we return, NBC's Mike Tirico. He'll be calling Vikings and Falcons on NBC this Sunday night. Always love doing a Covenant catch-up with one of my favorites, Mike Tirico. That's next on KFAN.